Hello beautiful people, I'm RaishPhoenix, and in today's video we're going to be doing a monthly review. If you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button and click the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. In this video we're going to be discussing the month of November. One of the things November made me more conscious of is how ambitious I am. I've had other people tell me I'm ambitious, like in college they've told me hey, you decide to do a lot in a short period of time. And in my mind, I kind of translated it as, what do you mean? I just had an intention to do something and I followed through. But I realized more of what that really meant, because that may seem like, okay, you're ambitious, what's the big deal about that? But the problem with me in terms of not being as conscious of how ambitious I am is that I give myself a lot to do in a short period of time, and if I don't get it done, I feel like I failed. My inability to see that I gave myself a short period of time is what makes it more difficult for me to believe what I'm capable of achieving or capable of having if I had given myself more time to do it. It's like the fact that it didn't work out somehow starts to make me feel like, oh, it's the universe giving me a sign. It's telling me I'm not allowed to have it. I need to wait a couple more years. But in reality, it's just, give yourself more time, babe. Give yourself more time, you know? Now that I'm having this realization, it's giving me more clarity on the things that I want to achieve in my life, because I feel like I've spoken about this in other videos, but it's like there's something about whenever it starts taking longer than a year, it's kind of like, you failed, you can't do it, you're not good enough for it, give it up, can't do it, nope, you failed, right? I don't know what the hell that is, but it's like, I've spoken about this, again, another thing, I've spoken about this in other videos, but the realization of realizing that I have to get a job, and I don't want this to come off as like, oh, I have to get a job, this sucks. It's not that. It's that I put my all into pursuing my dreams and building my brand for an entire year. I put my everything into this year, and for the things that I wanted to come to fruition to have not come to fruition, and me getting a job, it feels like I'm throwing it all away. It feels like I can't have my dreams. It feels like I failed. So with me realizing that it's not that I failed, it's just that I'm very ambitious and I'm trying to accomplish a lot in a small period of time, I have more peace in my heart finding a job, because the biggest thing I'm going to have to learn, or the challenges that I see in my future, is giving myself more time to accomplish things, and knowing that just because I accomplish it in a certain amount of time, and just because somebody else may have done it sooner or somebody else may have done it in less time, doesn't mean that I should give myself any less credit for what I'm capable of achieving, you know? I need to be a lot kinder to myself and more loving about how I'm feeling, you know? The fact that things are difficult, that's not always a walk in the park to achieve something, even if you've been doing it your entire life. Even if I've been drawing my entire life, it doesn't mean that if it takes me a very long time to learn how to do something else or learn how to do a different technique, it doesn't mean that I'm a failure, or that I should give up on it, or that I'm not capable of having what I want to accomplish. It just means that I need to be more patient with myself. I feel like this was definitely a month of experiencing a lot of emotions. I feel like the rest of the year, that's already passed, I feel like there was a lot of learning, you know? There was a lot of consuming information. There was a lot of, okay, this is what I'm going to try now, okay, this isn't working, I'm going to do this now. Whereas now at the end of the year, it feels a little bit more like, all right, now we're going to do something that feels more stable, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of emotions I've been experiencing that are very reminiscent to my past, and it makes me reflect on who I want to become in the future and what I need to do to become that person. I think there are a lot of moments in my past in which the things that have emotionally caused trauma and had created behavior patterns in myself that were very restricting, I was so caught up in the emotion that I felt, that I couldn't really see how poorly others were treating me. But now that I'm old enough to kind of be perceptive of these things, and I'm seeing how those same people that have caused trauma to me are treating other people, I'm realizing how much repetition there is in their life and their inability to realize how they're affecting their own quality of life but still blaming others for it. And it makes me feel more conscious of my own ability to change my life. It's crazy how like there are things that happen in our life that we end up doing the things that feel most natural to us because of the fear that starts building up, or the trauma that starts creating certain behavior patterns, and it affects our ability to see what we're doing to ourselves, like how we're restricting ourselves, but also how we're letting go of the things that make us feel good, like the best that we can feel. Specifically, I mean, so I know I spoke about this a lot, where I said I started watching a lot of anime again from my childhood, and I don't know how or why I stopped doing it, but it's like ever since I was younger, watching Adult Swim, watching even during the week when they used to have Toonami during the week, and it was like Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, like they had a Friday movie where it was like either Dragon Ball Z movie or Sailor Moon movie, or sometimes it was like Blue Submarine #6, like those times. I always would come home from like school and I'd do my homework and I'd watch that, I'd eat dinner, and I felt amazing. And then when Adult Swim started up and it was playing on like Saturday night, it's still on Saturday night, but when Adult Swim started off and it was like the very beginning of Adult Swim where the commercial was just like, it's Adult Swim, get the kids out of the pool, like those were the days where I would just sit in front of the TV and I would draw for hours. I don't know what happened, but somewhere, somehow I stopped doing that. I have a lot of anime series from my childhood that I've collected, so I have them accessible to watch. But since I've been playing them and watching them while working on my art, it has been like it has been the most amazing feeling ever. And I don't know why I stopped. I don't know how I stopped, but at some point in time I did. I think it was with the schedule that life, you know what, I think it was from working, you know, I think it wasn't realistic with the schedule that I was working, so I kind of let go of those things. But now that I have these anime shows on DVD, I see how I can still create that feeling without feeling like I have to stay up until like midnight or whatever in order to do what I want to accomplish. Like literally my bed schedule is like, I'll go to sleep around like 9-10ish and I'll wake up at 5 in the morning. So it's like I'm still getting my sleep, but at the same time I'm watching anime and I'm working on my art, and it's the best feeling. It's like the most rewarding thing I've done for myself. And it's crazy how you start going through things in life and you kind of start to lose your grasp on things that bring you so much peace, and things feel off and you don't know what it is, and then you finally find your way back to what always spoke to you, and you're like, why the hell did I let this go? Also, when I was much younger, I used to watch yoga in the morning. I think the age I was at, like I don't know the specific age that I was, but I think the age that I was at, like I didn't really understand yoga. Like I didn't understand what it was as like a practice, but I knew it was fascinating. Like there was something about it that I was just like, wow, like can I do that? Like can I bend my body in that position? Like there's something fascinating about it, but I didn't really understand the practice itself. But now that I'm older, it's like I love yoga and it makes sense. Even when I didn't know that when I was this peace, love, and enlightenment being, it's like I still felt drawn to this thing and I wanted to do it. And I remember that I used to, when I was younger, like I don't know, I feel like there were some days where it was before school where I'd get up really early, or it was on the weekends where I was up early enough and I would catch the program and I'd just be like on the floor doing all these stretches in front of the TV. And I think of course, I stopped one day. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if the program stopped that I was watching in particular, but I stopped doing yoga for years, like years. And then, like, just this year, now I'm picking it up again. And I came across this channel, I think it was like at some point in time in November, I came across this channel and I noticed that during the weekend, like only during the weekend, so on Saturday and Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m., they show a yoga program, and at the end of the program they give a quote, and I'm just like, where has this been? Like, I needed this program, and it gives a quote that's so like influential of like things you can change or apply to your life. And the fact that I have found this moment of creating something that I used to do in my past, but creating it now in the present, it's like, it makes my mornings so much more peaceful. Because another reason why I get up early, not only just because of the stuff I want to get done in the day, but I love how quiet it is. Like, I have this appreciation for quiet because I don't get to be around quiet a lot. I think that can be kind of weird when I post videos. It's like, what do you mean you don't get to be around quiet? I film when the house is quiet. So that means I film early in the morning, or I film when people are out. But it's like, I feel like I have a deeper appreciation for when it's quiet than most other people. I feel like other people are probably more used to being around noise, or they're okay with it, but for me it's like I just have a special appreciation for when it's quiet. So being able to wake up in the morning and it's quiet, and on top of that I get yoga, is like a blessing. On top of the fact that I have been watching anime while working on my art, it's made me more conscious of how long I can work on my art for before I need to take a break. So in my mind, it feels like I'm working all day on an art piece, right? But in reality, I've noticed that I can only work on a piece for about an hour to 2 hours max before I need to take a break. So after that time, it's like I start noticing that my ability to just work on the piece effortlessly, it kind of feels forced. It kind of feels like I don't really know what to do next. So if I do something, I'm just doing it to do it. So now that I have this consciousness of that, it makes it easier for me to realize how much time I can put in per day. Like, I can be like, okay, at 10 a.m. I'll put in an hour to 2 hours on this piece, and then I'll take a break, and then around 1 or whatever, I can put in an hour or 2 hours on this next piece. Like, it makes it more realistic for myself, and definitely enjoyable, of course, because anime is playing. But it's like, with anime, of course, it lasts for, if you're watching a show, not a movie, it lasts for 30 minutes. So it's like, I know after 2 episodes or after 4 episodes how much time I put in on my art. I know I have spoken previously in another month review how I have been decreasing my time on social media. So one of the things that I have noticed is that in the past, I used to make breakfast, and then after I make breakfast, I would come straight to my room, sit at my window, and I would go on Twitter, and I would just scroll, and I noticed that after a while, my appetite for my breakfast would kind of die down. It's like I wouldn't be able to eat all of my food until maybe like later on around like noon or so. And by the time I'm done with my breakfast, it may be like after 7 or 8 in the morning. So I would take like a little bit of bites, and then after that I would sometimes cover it up and then just eat it later. But in November, I started watching TV in the morning instead of going straight to my room with my food, and I realized that I can eat it right then and there. Like, literally, I will make my breakfast and then I'll end up watching like The Amazing World of Gumball, or something else, whatever's on that catches my interest, and it's so much easier for me to eat right then and there. And it's crazy because when it started happening in terms of like my loss of appetite in the morning, it was concerning, because I'm definitely doing my best to make sure I'm regulating my meals and making sure that I'm getting like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's difficult to regulate your meals when it's like you don't get your full meal in by the morning time, so by the time it's noon and you should be eating lunch, you're just finishing up breakfast. Like, that was something that was difficult for me to figure out, like, how to navigate myself around that. Once I started watching TV in the morning, it helped so much with allowing me to just sit there and be entertained by something to eat. And it kind of makes me wonder if, like, other people experience this too. Like, if there's other people who notice that when they're about to eat, and if they're scrolling on social media, they're less likely to eat, versus if they were getting that food and then doing something else that is less so dependent on their ability to, I don't know, click on something or press something. If they were to consume some other type of content where it kind of just plays for you, if it's more likely that they would be able to eat more effortlessly, which I think is kind of interesting. Like I said, like, I've definitely been creating healthier habits in my daily routine and doing the things that for some reason I had let go of when I was younger, and figuring out how to place it more prominently in my life so that I can improve my quality of life. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Bless up, and until next time, sending out much peace, love, and enlightenment. Bye, guys.